Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Happy Memorial Day, everybody, and what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and on this Monday afternoon, we are here live from this past Saturday night's edition of WWE's Saturday Night's Main Event. Took place again this past Saturday, May 24th, 2025, at the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida, which is one of the homes for the Thunderdome during the Thunderdome era for WWE, which we were reminded by Pat McAfee, who made his debut inside the Thunderdome when it was at the Yuengling Center. We're going to take a look back at the 5 matches on this show and go from there. If you did not get to check it out yet, check out my my SmackDown review that I uploaded last night. Again, I do apologize. I was hoping to get all this done Friday night and Saturday night, but I ended up having some last minute plans come up. A couple of the nephews wanted to come over, which I'm not going to say no to that if I'm able to. So I ended up doing that instead of doing the reviews. And just catching up. I tried to do both of them last night, but I was getting gassed out. And I'm finally trying to get my, even though it's definitely too late and probably not even worth it, but I'm still going to post it, my Money in the Bank printed match card. I'm not going to lie. This match card for Money in the Bank, I struggled with so bad. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because we had Saturday Night's Main Event in between Backlash and Money in the Bank. If there's just so many events condensed together, I just could not come up with a card. And honestly, I'm still not 100% set on the card I came up with for Money in the Bank. But it's just, it was one of the hardest cards for me to put together. But we'll talk about Money in the Bank, though, another time. We will be doing a live review of Raw this coming week, as I will get back to doing at least one live review a week. This is technically my live review from last week, but I'm catching up with it now. My overall thoughts on this 3rd edition of Saturday Night's Main Event. Good, because there was some storytelling advancement, a couple of returns, set up for a big tag match at Money in the Bank. But, again, I still gotta reiterate this. This needs to be a 4-match show. I'm sorry. The 5 matches, things just, even though, of course, things were executed well on this show, because, again, the first edition of Saturday Night's Main Event, it had solid wrestling on it, but it felt like a rushed, glorified house show. And I still have, that house show type feel when watching Saturday Night's Main Event. But at least the past couple, there have been some storytelling progressions. In the meantime, at least. So I'll give it that. But again, it just still feels so rushed. Between that and the commercials, it would be more efficient if this was a 4-match card. And it was about to be a 4-match card. But then at the very last second on SmackDown this past Friday, they added in Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega in a rematch for the Women's U.S. title. Which I know you should have had a women's match on this card, but if I gotta be honest, that's the match that should not have been on this card. And that probably was one of the weakest matches I've seen all year, if I'm being honest. But we will get to that, though, in a little bit. But let's check the live chat first before we're talking about things. We do have Tyler in the live chat. What's up, buddy? The main event should have been John Cena versus not R-Truth, but Ron Cena. Could have been maybe, but I think the reason why, because of what happened. He says Money in the Bank needs to go. I would say, well, I've been saying this too with other concepts like King of the Ring or War Games, and even like maybe Money in the Bank, you don't have to have the same thing every single year. Because I'm not gonna lie, like the people who are in or I'm predicting to be in the ladder matches, honestly, there really isn't the people I probably would have wanted to pick for me to win Mr. or Miss Money in the Bank. Because I being honest, like if I was going with women, I definitely would say Chelsea Green, but Chelsea's not going to be in the match. So now I'm picking Naomi, and she still doesn't qualify for it, so we'll see. The men, I have no idea. I'm thinking I'm predicting Seth Rollins to be in it. I haven't seen if Adam Pearce posted who's going to be in the qualifying matches, but you'll see whenever I do post my Money in the Bank card. I'm not making any more changes. I am done. I've gone back and forth with that so many times, but that one I just struggled with. But yeah, maybe it is time. Maybe you don't need to do Money in the Bank every single year. Maybe you need to change it up and do something different. But that maybe just my thing. But that's not a bad thought there, Tyler. Stop giving Logan Paul title matches. We'll talk about that when we get to the end, to the main event. Of course, I have some thoughts on it after seeing what happened in the main event this past week. So, we're going to get into the show. We opened up with the tag match with CM Punk and Sami Zayn taking on Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. I'm sorry. Braun Breaker. We'll get to Bronson Reed in a second. The match was good, as I expected it to be. Again, besides commercial breaks and whatnot, not going to get into all that jazz again. This was a good tag match. It was kind of like a personal grudge rivalry, as Seth Rollins and whatever his new group is with him, Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman is definitely telling that story of them doing the whole takeover thing, which of course obviously is already working better than the Death Riders in AEW. But the most noteworthy thing to talk about is what happened at the end of this match. While Paul Heyman was distracting the referee, I think he, pulled on Sami's foot or something, I think. That happened. He pulled on Sami's foot. While the referee was distracted, CM Punk got pulled out of the ring. By who? A returning Bronson Reed. Big Bronson Reed is back. And he's part of this new stable. Which is interesting, which we'll explain why in a second. But he does run Punk through the barricade, and it does lead to Seth Rollins and company winning the match. Afterwards, though, they have Seth and Bron hold out Punk in the ring, and Bronson Reed only does one, not six, like he did on Seth Rollins. He does one tsunami. My wife and I do crack up whenever Bronson does jump off the top rope and he goes like with his fists. Well, he does a tsunami. So I know the one thing people are making a gripe about with this is how does this make sense for Bronson Reed to join Seth Rollins? Because right before Bronson Reed went away due to injury back around Survivor Series, I think he got hurt in the Survivor Series War Games match. They mentioned the last time we saw these two, they were fighting. Which is true. Bronson Reed was feuding with Seth Rollins last time they saw each other. Well, why are they now all of a sudden to do a thing? We'll have to wait and see. And the thing is yes, we've had plenty of times in the past where Vince McMahon would have people fighting, and then out of the blue, like, moments later, there being a team again. But I'm sure there is a story behind why Bronson Reed is teaming with Seth Rollins. So, we'll see what happens with Raw tonight and what the explanation is. But I'm interested. Again, I like Bronson. And I know that there's that little rabbit hole there, but once you explain that, it's be a pretty dominating group. We'll see where it goes. Although, they continue to show signs that looks like Braun Breaker is, somewhat not enjoying living in Seth Rollins' shadow. Could that change? I don't know. But I still personally want to see, because eventually Seth is going to get the world title. Maybe. I want to make a pitch about something at the end with the main event. If they don't, of course, have Braun Breaker be the one to dethrone Seth Rollins, I still want it to be Sami Zayn. Based off of, that night where they were trying to get Sami to join their side, but he refused to do so. Ever since then, and how they kind of been like teasing something with Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins for a few months now, I still think that needs to be Sami Zayn maybe winning the Rumble, and then dethroning Seth Rollins for the world title at WrestleMania 42. But we'll have to see if we do get there. But there was that match. The second match on the card was by far my least favorite. It was Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green for the Women's United States Championship. Match itself, Zelina Vega botched the 619. She botched it, and then she tried to follow through with actually kicking Chelsea Green, and she literally kicked her square on the nose for real, that she busted open Chelsea Green. Which, that was a horrible botch right there. I did like the finish, though. I'll give them that. I did like the Avalanche Code Red off the top rope. That was pretty cool. But other than that, first off, I would have rather had Chelsea win this. I just still feel like, in my opinion, unless you are leading her on to bigger and better things, which is her winning women's Money in the Bank, but she's not going to be in that match, I would have put the belt back on Chelsea. Because I still feel like with this whole, Secret Harvest political gimmick that she's doing right now, she is killing it to a T. And I just feel like, especially, you just added Alba Fire to the group. There's a lot of mileage to this. I really feel like there's a lot more mileage to this gimmick. And if you're not going to give her, the women's U.S. title, move up to the main event scene. Because now, what do? You split the Secret Harvest, who just added a third member? And it's something that's working? That's my first problem there. And then also, it's just that this whole story with Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green, these two just don't have the best chemistry, unfortunately. And again, it didn't make sense because wasn't Zelina losing to Chelsea and Piper a couple times before this even happened? So I don't know. I definitely not one of my high points, I'd say. So Chelsea loses, and what's next? I don't know. Like I said, if it was me, I'd be playing Chelsea and Miss Money in the Money in the Bank ladder match and having her be Miss Money in the Bank. To me, that's the only other way for her to go. Because if not, then why did you drop the title to Zelina? I get it, Triple H likes Zelina Vega. I like Zelina Vega too. I feel like she has been severely misused during her time in WWE. But I feel like that it just feels like she kind of interfered in Chelsea Green's momentum a little bit. So I really feel like she was really embracing some sort of a gimmick and a character with this women's U.S. title. But I guess let's wait and see where she goes next. Who knows? Will she go after? Will she have a women's title match against Tiffany Stratton while Tiffany's still champion? I don't know. But we'll see. Speaking of which, also, just to touch on this really quick, they did announce. So, the next edition of Saturday Night's main event is going to be on July 12th, which is the same day as AEW All In, which I do plan on giving that show a watch and a review. I might even do a preview for that. We'll see. But definitely, that's one AEW review I choose to still at least watch and review for the channel is All In. But Saturday Night's main event's also that day. And then that Sunday, and then also I think that same day too is NXT's Great American Bash. And then that Sunday is Evolution. They're bringing back Evolution. It's going to be on Sunday. And not just that, 2 that's going to be Night of Champions. But yeah, I'm surprised they're doing Evolution on a Sunday. That's going to be a busy weekend for sure. But just want to get that update in there. Next match, of course, John Cena took on R-Truth in a non-title match. But of course, John Cena came out to his usual theme song with the black and the white, typical Arial font John Cena. Because again, he wants to ruin wrestling. Even though at Backlash he kind of showed a little bit of remorse, but He realized the damage has been done, and he's a monster now, so he's just embracing that while he can. But he took on R-Truth. R-Truth came out to John Cena's music with all the colors and his attire, and he called himself Ron Cena, which was absolutely hilarious. But the match was pretty much a squash. R-Truth did have a little bit of a comeback there, doing John Cena's 5 moves of doom. Cena did do them, and he kind of did them slow, like he did at WrestleMania 41 when he faced Cody. But the match, did what it needed to do. I knew it wasn't going to be a classic moment, but it was an entertainment. I was entertained. John, though, does go to beat R-Truth using the championship, but then the referee saw him, and he decided to toss it to his side. But then when the referee wasn't looking, he low-blowed R-Truth and hit the AA, and that's how he got the victory. But, of course, we weren't done yet with John Cena, because backstage, at some point in the show, he confronted the World Heavyweight Champion, Jey Uso, who was going to be main eventing the show against Logan Paul. And Cena basically told him that wouldn't it be a shame if wrestling got ruined because a real wrestler lost to a YouTuber and dropped the title to him? He basically tried to get in his head a little bit. And I'm like, wonder where that's going. Before we got there, though, we then had Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre fight in a steel cage match. And the match, again, was really good. Both these men have had really great matches. They have really great chemistry in the ring, especially with the personal rivalry. But surprisingly, of course, I did have a feeling they may give Damian the rub here on this. But to my surprise is how he won. So, Drew McIntyre went to Claymore Damian into the chair in the corner like he did at WrestleMania. Instead, though, Damian got out of the way. He then, I believe, hit a South of Heaven, or he did hit something to put down Drew. And Damian Priest grabs another chair and hits Drew McIntyre with a concerto. And he just walked out of the cage and shut it. Interesting ending there. Now, I did read something that apparently Drew McIntyre is being set to take some time off again. He has been wrestling with some nagging injuries, so he wants to take some time to heal and take care of some other personal stuff. Which, okay, if that's the case, I understand. But yeah, that ending was kind of cryptic. Having Damian, the face, hit Drew with a concerto, which they did mention Edge, because Damian Priest was briefly involved with Edge when Edge started the Judgment Day. But yeah, I wonder what's next for Damian Priest, especially with that bold ending for sure, making that statement. Taking him out and just walking away and leaving him in the ring. So, I don't know what's next for them. I originally thought maybe Damian would be put in Money in the Bank, but I don't think he is now after I realized that there's supposed to be 6 people in the Money in the Bank, not 8. So he was the odd one out. I could be wrong. We'll see, though. But yeah, we'll see what's next. And Drew, hopefully he heals well. Hopefully he will be back soon. Finally, the main event. Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship. So, we did talk about how John Cena kind of gotten ahead of Jey Uso before the match. First off, the match itself was rushed. It was definitely rushed. There was only 10 minutes left in the show when the match started, and they even had a commercial break. So, although they did the best with what they got, this match deserved more time for sure. But, to cut right to the chase, though. So, I did kind of hate how this was shot, because while Jey is getting Logan down, getting ready to pin him towards the end, you hear the crowd make noise. And after what happened earlier, you knew it was John Cena coming out. And the referee, though, who clear as day had the shot of had to have seen John Cena come out, slides in front of the... He's like, here's the ropes. He's standing all the way back here. Slides right in front right here just to purposely feed him to let John Cena pull him out. That botch I kind of disliked. But John pulled him out. He gets in, he starts attacking Jey Uso. Because he wants to ruin wrestling and put the belt on a YouTuber. So, that was looking like it was going to happen until Cody Rhodes came out and made his return and made the save. And it was all clean. He got John out of the way. And he let Jey get in there and finish up Logan Paul. Jey Uso does get the victory over Logan Paul. Makes me feel better about him as a champion. They gave him a victory. I know there was some interference, but it didn't like impact the match that much. That it didn't look like that Jey couldn't beat Logan. So we're fine there. But afterwards, Cody gets on the mic and says, "You've ruined enough. You seem to have a partner. I have a partner as well. It'll be John Cena and Logan Paul teaming up against Cody Rhodes and main event Jey Uso at Money in the Bank." So we're getting a tag match. Interesting. I really didn't know where they were going to go with it because I thought they were going to do something with John Cena and Travis Scott. That's because I kept hearing rumors because originally I heard they were going to do Cena and Punk at Money in the Bank. But now I'm hearing they're going to wait till SummerSlam on that one. So then I started hearing rumors of a tag match. And I thought it's going to be John Cena and Travis Scott. But instead it's going to be John Cena and Logan Paul. And they're taking on Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Now let me just throw this out here for. So I mentioned before that I don't want to see that this wasn't the time for Logan Paul to become champion, right? I felt like again, it's no secret I don't like Logan Paul. But I do think he's an excellent wrestler, and if they have a reason to want to put the world title on him, I understand. All I ask is just for it to have something behind it to make it make sense. And not just look like you're just handing just another celebrity the title. Honestly, again, I still personally think Seth Rollins is going to be the one to dethrone Jey Uso. I really think that's going to be the case. But, let's do this. And I just thought of something else too. If Seth Rollins is going to be the one to dethrone Jey Uso, he could maybe eventually do it by being Mr. Money in the Bank. Here's the situation I want to pitch. This is what I thought of. Because I feel like a lot of people think it's going to be obvious that John Cena is going to fight Cody Rhodes in his final match before he retires. What if we change that a little bit? Just saying. John Cena wants to ruin wrestling. And if now that idea is he wants to take the title off an actual wrestler and put it on a YouTuber, what if eventually Logan Paul does take the title off Jey Uso? Hear me out on this. That could happen. And what if that leads to Jey Uso eventually being the one to take the title off John Cena? Because that's kind of a match I feel like we kind of have to visit after the ending to the Royal Rumble. Because I even said too, they could do something with John Cena and Jey Uso for the Crown Jewel title. If they want to do that champion versus champion match, I'll take that. But if they want to take this a step further and really add more heat on this John Cena's heel character by basically helping someone that nobody wants the world title on, that I can believably see being a world champion in Logan Paul, helping him win the title, Jey gets his comeuppance and he beats Cena. And take a step further. After Jey beats Cena, then Seth Rollins can cash in on Jey Uso as Mr. Money in the Bank. That's a kind of a little bit a complicated plan. But if it's someone different, then fine. Again, I have nothing against it being Cody, but it feels like it's just too obvious that it's Cody. What if it was Jey? What if it was Jey Uso who dethroned Cody Rhodes? Who dethroned John Cena instead of Cody Rhodes? Just an idea I wanted to throw out there. But that does it. That's my review of Saturday's main event. Like I said, a couple little kinks in there, but I still thought it was a good show. Some interesting stuff. Like I said, I'm interested to see, what goes on with Bronson Reed joining up with Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. I'm interested in, of course, the tag match with Cena, Logan, and Cody and Jay. Nice seeing Cody back. Drew and Damian delivered well. Like I said, the only thing I wasn't a big fan of was, besides, of course, the production, was the women's U.S. title match. I wasn't a fan of that match. But other than that, another good show. I gave the B. Another B. Graded show for the channel. And, yeah, check the live chat one last time before we go off the air here. Tyler wants him to fire Logan Paul, and Seth should take the world title from Jay. I still think yes, but like I said, you could take a little bit of another route. And like I said, if you really wanted to put the belt on Logan, and you tell that story with John Cena wanting to ruin wrestling by taking a world title off the actual wrestler and putting it on another, other entertainer, I can kind of get behind that. I can understand that. Like, again, if Jay would have just beaten Logan, if Logan would have just beaten Jay right here, I wouldn't have liked that. But since there is a little merit, if you would have Logan be the one to win the title eventually because of John Cena, I could maybe give that a pass. But that's my review of that. Like I said, hopefully within the next hour or so, I will have my Money in the Bank card uploaded as well. Again, I'm just done and ready to move on with that. It's definitely been probably the hardest card for me to predict so far. And we'll go from there. So guys, thank you Tyler and anybody else who stopped by for this review of Saturday night's main event from the May 24th issue. Again, the next Saturday night's main event is July 12th. So I will be reviewing that along with Evolution that weekend. And of course, all in. It's going to be a very, very busy weekend that weekend. We put it that way. But we'll go from there. So what are your guys' thoughts on Saturday's main event? You guys thoughts down in the comment section below. We guys think of also my idea of maybe Jey Uso being the one to dethrone John Cena eventually. And again, if you want to really have Seth dethrone Jay, have him win Mr. Money in the Bank. If you guys thoughts down in the comment section below, slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well, The Club of the Man 93, and also on TikTok and Instagram as The Club of the Man 1993. Until then, guys, I'll check it out. I'll catch y'all later. Have a great Memorial Day. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!